Microsoft fell flat on their face, and I'll go into why in full later, but they fell flat on their face. They had no real gameplay other than Sunset Overdrive, and the rest was pre-rendered CGI shit that no one could give a fuck about because it doesn't tell you anything about the games. They look pretty, and they give you a rough idea like this game is going to be a shooter because guns. So, yeah, that was terrible. Ubisoft came out kind of weak at first, I thought, because they showed Division and Assassin's Creed, which we'd already seen with the Microsoft conference. Of course, in more detail, though, this time round. And then they done their Just Dance and all sorts of shit. And then they blew me away at the end of Rainbow Six Siege. Now, it's like Rainbow Six, the original, but put into multiplayer. So you play in your Assault, and then you go in against AIs on the original. Except now you're going against player-controlled characters. And the destructibility of the environments was insane. Also, there's Far Cry 4, and that didn't get shown properly until Sony came out later, and that was epic. One of my favourite games. One of my favourite games of the previous gen was Far Cry 3. Without a doubt. Then obviously we had EA, they done their usual EA thing. They showed a little bit of Star Wars Battlefront, but it's still early days yet, so you can't really make an opinion on that. Then they done sports, and more sports. Battlefield Hardline. What a disappointment. I know a lot of people were really impressed with it and really pleased, but what a disappointment for me. I was really hoping that it would be a bit more like Payday, a bit more focused, a bit less sandboxy, which doesn't really fit in with Battlefield. But it's essentially what I saw on the screen, with all the buildings getting basically destroyed and roads collapsing and everything, which is great because Revolution, that needs to be in the game really, it is Battlefield. But to me it seemed, rather than cops and robbers, it seemed more like a bad day in Syria. So the premise for me doesn't work. And it's not believable. So, I mean, the gameplay may very well be fun, but the premise, I think, is a bit shit. So, yeah, then we had Sony. Sony, obviously. And Sony, as far as the presentation went, like, they had the most games, they had all the gameplay, and pretty much every third-party game got shown at Sony. It was like they literally all just run to Sony and left. And this is why Microsoft fell flat on their face. All the third-party publishers have then gave their allegiance to Sony and left Microsoft with nothing to show other than some games that they have in the works at some point, most likely pre-alpha. Yeah, they don't actually have any games built to show, so they've just gone with CG trailers to replace where there'd normally be third-party games. So, I mean, that's why Microsoft fell on their face. But that being said, all the impressive games, all the impressive footage was at Sony. But when you take away the third-party games and just put Sony there, none of the exclusives really interested me, personally. None of them, at all, in fact. The presenter was desperately trying to be funny. Obviously, Phil Spencer weren't much better for Microsoft at all. He's got the personality of Cold Grom. And then the Sony of America president, or whatever, oh my god, he came out and just... This is him, which was the sort of second half of Sony, their entire conference. It was just him standing there going, we've listened to the community, we've listened to the fans and the gamers, and we are doing our hardest to buzzwords, games. And if you don't know what a buzzword is, it's a bullshit term used to make something sound better. It's done in offices all the time. For an example, skyward thinking, going up a floor on the elevator of life, that kind of thing. And buzzwords in gaming is generally innovative, imaginative, dynamic, all that pish, all that absolute bullshit spewing out of this guy's mouth. You can tell why he's ended up in the presidency at Sony of America. Seriously. he just... Oh, then he went free to play. He went fucking television. Then he went fucking started talking about a goddamn movie. Piss off, you arsehole. We don't give a flying fuck. I want to see games. I want developers talking about games. And the less buzzwords, the better. Bloody marketing bollocks, the whole thing. I was glad to see him go. He ruined Sony for me. I was watching it live and I was like, Sony have fucking won this. They got in bed with Devolver Digital, which is fast becoming one of my favourite publishers right now. And then he come out and just shat all over it with marketing bollocks. Fuck off. Show more games. Then they came out with, what was it, Uncharted 4. And Naughty Dog. Great developer. Great developer. No doubt about that. But seriously, they made a trailer for Uncharted 4. Now, if you know anything about guns, which I do, this pissed me off. Right? He picks up his 1911 pistol. He cocks it. Then he checks the magazine, which is full. Loads the magazine and then cocks it again. And the problem is that when you cock a gun, it loads the bullets into the chamber, which is all well and good. But then he unloads the mag and it's still full, and then he loads it back up and cocks it again, and the bullet doesn't ping out. If you're going to make a game with guns in it, at least go to a firing range and find out how guns work. Because the movies won't bloody teach you. But yeah, all in all, I suppose you could say Sony won, in my humble opinion. I think that they don't win because they mentioned free-to-play and accessibility in the same fucking sentence, and that is a cardinal sin. Also, The Last of Us coming out on PS4 and GTA 5 coming out on PS4, or the next gen as a whole for GTA. Big fucking work. These are games that everyone bought last year. And the fact that they used a shit Nirvana cover of Something in the Way, that to me is just don't fuck with the classics. You don't fuck with the classics. That really pissed me off. I am very into my music, almost as much as I am into my games. So I'm very passionate about the fact that you do not cover that song. But that's just me. All in all, yeah, I think Ubisoft won it. Then you got EA, then Microsoft, then Sony, just for the fact that they said free to play and accessibility, and that president came out and just ruined the whole thing, really. And the fact that most of the games, pretty much all the games that Sony showed, were third-party games. They're not even Sony games. So, in essence, third-party won that, and Sony essentially just came out and done what Microsoft done last year when they fucked up and chatted about television and movies for a fucking hour. That's essentially what they did. After all the trailers were done, it was just this guy blabbering on about bollocks we don't care about. Well, there's something supposed to be a little bit of E3 at the end, but it's turned into a lot, so I might have to rethink the title for this video. Oh well, either way, quite impressed with a few games. My favourite games out there were definitely Far Cry 4. You got No Man's Sky, that looked awesome. Then there was Mortal Kombat 10, Rainbow Six Siege. Those are my favourite games of E3, and those are the ones that win it. So yeah, that's all from me. Thank you for watching. If I've offended you, then fine. Please leave a nasty message in the bottom. Feel free to do that. I'm all up for a discussion. Yeah, that's stuff that every channel tells you to do, and I'll see you soon. For more controversial shit, probably. Goodbye.